Is it just me, or do people have no idea how to talk to each other anymore? How to simply hold a conversation? The thing I notice the most with people, especially people around my age, is that they don't have proper eye contact. They have no idea how to use eye contact in conversations. What I've seen in most people, especially people around my age, is that they don't use proper eye contact when they're talking to one another. But what I see people doing a lot is not looking into others' eyes when they're talking to them. And that's a big problem. And if you're someone who's doing this, you're sending off all the wrong signals. So today I'm going to be talking about 3 powerful impacts that strong eye contact can have for you during conversation. And you'll start seeing the results of these things immediately. Number 1. Now, this first one is for people who suffer from social anxiety. I used to be one of those people. It wasn't anything severe, but I always lacked confidence. It wasn't until about my senior year of high school that I started realizing that I really needed to work on my confidence. So a very small yet very powerful little social hack that I learned was eye contact. And I started forcing myself to look at people when I was talking to them. Now, if you're someone who suffers from social anxiety, just the thought of having a one-on-one conversation with someone and trying to keep it from being awkward seems impossible to you. But something I noticed was that using eye contact, what it does, and you might not even think about this, but what it does is it takes your focus from yourself and it shifts it onto the other person. If you're someone who's socially anxious, a lot of times what you'll find yourself doing, usually subconsciously, you won't even know you're doing it, but what you find yourself doing is you're always thinking about yourself. So you're thinking, oh, I probably look weird, and they're probably thinking weird things about me, or you'll say something and you'll go, oh, I wonder how that sounded. Did I say that too quiet? Did I say that too loud? I wonder if they're looking at my clothes, or am I talking too fast? And you overthink everything. But what I found that's a great way to combat this is to start looking at the other person. And what happens when you start looking at the other person is that all those nervous feelings that you're feeling inside, they fade away because you're shifting the focus from yourself onto the other person. And with time, you'll notice yourself slowly grow in confidence as you fear the one-on-one conversation less and less with every single encounter. Number 2, being able to hold their attention. And that's just it. When you look at someone in the eyes, what you do is you sort of force them to focus their attention on you. Because maybe you've noticed this before when someone who's mastered eye contact and has very strong eye contact is speaking just to you. And what it sort of makes you feel like is when they're talking to you, everything else gets blocked out. And you feel like, well, to them, you're the center of the universe. Like, for that moment that they're having a conversation with you, you are the only thing that matters to them. And that's powerful stuff. That keeps someone fixated on you throughout the entire conversation. They hang on to every single word that you say because they don't want to miss a single one. So what else does this mean? Well, it also means that in a way, you can control the conversation. If you're looking down at your feet or you're looking at what's going on around you, you're looking at other people, you're looking up at the sky or somewhere, or you're looking anywhere other than their eyes, it's going to be a lot easier for them to shift the conversation whatever direction you want to. And maybe they'll shift it into a direction that's more uncomfortable for you. And you don't want that to happen. So what you want to practice is powerful eye contact. By having strong eye contact, you're able to control the conversation in 2 different ways. One, you're obviously paying attention because you're looking at them and you know what you're talking about because, like I said, you're paying attention to the conversation. You're paying attention to what both of you are saying. So you're able to drive the conversation towards a direction that you want it to go in. And secondly, like I mentioned earlier, they also only are paying attention to what you're saying and they're hanging on to every single word that you're saying. So they're not speechless, they're not just going to stop talking, but they're going to be paying attention to what you say. So you start driving the conversation in a different direction and they're more likely to just keep going with you because they want to keep the conversation going. Strong eye contact really is that captivating. Number 3, people can tell that you mean what you say. Now, there's a story to this one. I work at a Kohl's department store near my house, and one of the big things that all the managers always push constantly is getting customers to apply for Kohl's credit cards. So the standard thing, usually we have a big 30% coupon event going on, and you're supposed to tell the customer when they come up to the register that if you activate a Kohl's card today, you can save 30%. So, like the good little cashier I was, I did that. I've asked every single person that came through the line, and if they wanted to sign up for a Kohl's card, I told them that if they activated one, they could save 30% on their purchase today. But I made a mistake. You see, each time that I asked that question, I was never looking at them. I was usually messing and fumbling around with the items that they put on the register, and I was scanning things and I was putting them into the bags, and I was writing down on slips of paper for them or taking phone numbers and all of the above. But I wasn't looking at them when I talked to them. I never realized that, but whenever I would go through the whole pitch of, well, if you activate your Kohl's card today, you could save 30%. I never looked them in the eyes, which is why every time I asked them, most times I was usually met with, nope. So I started to challenge myself, and I forced myself to maintain eye contact with every single person that came through my line. Now, I wasn't going to be staring at them like a creep every single second that they're at my line. Just don't do that. But especially when I went through the pitch of activating Kohl's card could save you 30% today, I made sure to look them in the eyes. And what happened? No, they didn't. I didn't automatically get like a million yeses, and every single time I asked that, I got a credit card, because I'd get like 60 credit cards every single day. That would be crazy, and I would be store manager in a day. That's not what happened. But what did happen, and what I was able to tell from other people's expressions, is that they were listening intently to me because I focused eye contact on them. I was looking them in the eyes when I gave my pitch, and it conveyed a certain sincerity from my words, and I did care about saving them 30%. I know it might seem to most people like I don't care at all, like I'm a stone cold cashier, just, obeying the company's policy, but I did care about saving them 30%. But I never conveyed that because I was always looking at my feet or looking at what I was, taking off the counter and putting it in a bag or something, or writing on slips of paper, or handling money, and I wasn't looking at them. But when I started looking at them, it conveyed my sincerity, and they realized, I could see it register in their brain. It made them realize, oh, he actually does care about saving me money. It's unrealistic to think that I'm not going to get no's all of a sudden. But I did get a few more yeses. Every time I asked that, about every day or every other day, I'd get at least one yes. Strong eye contact translates into telling the truth. When you do that, when you start maintaining strong eye contact with people, others naturally believe you. Because are you going to believe someone who's just staring at their feet and can't even look you in the eyes? No. But you are more likely to believe someone who's looking you in the eyes the whole time. That's why people like Bill Clinton were fantastic speech makers, because they looked people in the eyes. So there you have it. 3 powerful impacts that strong eye contact can have for you when you're in conversation with someone else. You shift your focus from yourself to the other person, and suddenly the nervous feelings fade away. You are able to hold someone else's attention, so now suddenly you control the conversation. And lastly, you come off as more honest and genuine in what you say. You can start this today. Start consciously reminding yourself to look at the other person, to look at them when you're talking to them, and you'll start to see the results immediately.